Morning, everybody. It's Wednesday, middle of October. Oh, and guess what? Just got here. Dumpster's almost full, half full. Got that little bit. Then we're gonna close up the door. So things are going pretty decent. I did have a little problem with the fascia and the soffit. What I was hoping for it to be somewhat sound of structure turned out not to be at all. If you look above me here, this is the eave that I need to hang the power wire from for the electrical. I knew it was an issue. I knew it was going to be a problem when I first came to the house and I started looking at it, so I didn't want to touch it. Just like everything else, it was going to be a can of worms, and I had that sensation already. It was going to be a can of worms. This is what it was before. Looks like a whiteboard painted, and it's short up there. The bird box is totally all rotted out already. That's that corner piece. But when I started taking it apart, it's vinyl flooring, or a vinyl siding, it looks like. I don't even know what it is. This is what's up there. It's literally held on with the plywood from the roof deck. That's totally wrong. Since we're doing the roof, I have to correct that and make it what it's supposed to be. If you notice the house behind me, all they have is just a board with the freeze board on top of it, and then that's it. No overhang. The overhang is not necessary, but it does make the house look a lot nicer. So we're going to go through the trouble of putting a roof on it. We might as well go through the trouble of adding the eave to it. Let's go inside, take a look. The house has got a cold, eerie vibe now to it. Because, remember before, little chunks of drywall everywhere? Now it's nothing but ready to go. So, all the drywall is off now. So now you can see all the stuff that I was concerned about. If you look up there, that plywood that's on the roof is all rotted out. After further investigating everything, these extra boards that are put in here, I'm pretty sure is to create the eave, the overhang on this side. It never had it. This house never had it, I guess. So by adding one every, I don't know why they didn't do it every joist, but they got them everywhere. There's no need for it. There's an easier way to do it, but they didn't do that. I still got a lot of cleanup to do. As you can see, there's still a lot of loose insulation everywhere. I got this 2x4 with the big nails coming through it. That still has to be dropped. And I'll have to reframe all of the lattice for the drywall. So, but now that's all gone. I mean, you can see up there, all that plywood up there is all rotted out. It's all moldy. It's not good. Not good to inhale, not good to touch, not good to disturb, but it's going to be good to get rid of. So now that we got the insulation all gone, the drywall's all gone, the rest of this is going to be finishing up the little details for the roofing, or for the framing, which is attic scuttle door, and add the 2 lights in the back bedroom and some bracing for our vents, and then we're done with framing. I did leave some of this insulation on there. Now, a lot of people don't understand what caused the mold in the attic. How it works out is the mold is created by moisture. Uh, these houses were designed at one time to have what's called a gable vent, which is a vent on each side, and it would just cross breeze the air through there, and then it would relieve everything of its wind, or the air, for moisture to leave as it builds. As you can see, that was a really big square, and they added a new one. All they did was make it half the size. So they already choked all the venting out of it. And somebody's bright idea was to add these guys, those round vents. And then at some point somebody added these E-vents, or soffit vents. All of them work. Not all of them work at the same time. What ends up happening is air comes in and air comes out. The whole point of the design on how this stuff works, let's see if I can find the console, is that air wants to travel in one direction, in and outwards. When you offer more opportunity for the air to come in and exit, well, it doesn't do anything. The air will stay stagnant then. And then you have a problem with the air not going anywhere. So right now, how we have it is, here, this piece of plywood right here, we can draw on this. The original structure, here, I'll draw it. We'll do a quick little drawing here. Obviously, the roof is not this big. Okay. So, let me flip this camera. How do I do that? Well, I don't know how to flip the camera. Here's our basic house. You got a roof, and then you have a layer of insulation. You have hot air that's coming from the downstairs, obviously because you're heating your house. It travels up. See, a lot of people think that all it does is just block. This blanket of insulation just blocks. And it does. And the problem is that it needs to have ventilation. You have hot air here, cold air here. It causes moisture in this area. So before, we had a vent on each side that would suck air in and push out at the same time. One end out the other. When they added these vents, they added 4 of them to try to get rid of the moisture. What happens here now is that you have a place for the cold air to exit, and it's always going to be cold up here, and it's never going to be a difference in temperature causing moisture, which causes, you got it, mold. Moisture creates mold. This house was never underneath 80 degrees. I promise you that. It's since my grandparents moved in here. It was like Texas in here all year round. So it's always hot, cold winters, a lot of moisture builds up in there, and then you have issues with the mold. The easiest way to take care of, how we're going to fix this situation, is what's called the soffit vent. Okay, so we're still going to have, actually it's more insulation than what was up there, and there was a crap load of insulation up there, almost like 24 inches deep. That's a different thing. Not done correctly. What happens here is, what we do is we take a soffit. Okay, so we have the houses here. We got this little overhang.